Work pants are like work boots. You can spend a ton of money and a long, frustrating period of time trying to figure out which boot or which pant is what works for you, with your body, with your shape, with your activity, with your job. Finding the right pair of pants is a big darn deal. What I'm hoping to do in this video is let you know what I've figured out about a work pant that I think is going to be the pant that I'm going to be able to use until I'm dead. So I grew up in a household where I just knew from the time I was young that money was tight. It was a single income family. My dad worked in the woods and in a mill, and my mom gradually expanded the number of music lessons, piano lessons that she was teaching, and the number of jobs she took playing piano for weddings and funerals and graduations and church services, and she augmented the income with her music. But there was never any question about whether or not discretionary income was tight. It was tight enough that as a kid, hand-me-downs were the biggest part of my wardrobe. I mean, Mom would go to rummage sales, now they're garage sales. We would, Goodwill, I knew exactly what the inside of Goodwill looked like and how exciting it was to find something on the shelf that was going to work perfectly. But the real red letter days were the days when my cousin, Mike Wadsworth, from his family, my dad's brother and his family, when his hand-me-downs would come and show up and be laid out on the living room floor, that was an exciting day for me. Mike was 3 years older than I was, and I looked up to him. In many ways, he was an example and sort of an unreachable standard of intelligence and physicality and charisma that I didn't think I would ever be able to measure up to, and did I love the Levi's that would come. Because Levi's were workwear. I think I can remember that when they first started showing up and I recognized them, the waist size was like 21. I mean, he was a kid and I was a littler kid. And when they would show up and they fit me and they smelled like Mike, it was great. So as I got older and I started being paid by my dad to help him log and selling cedar fence posts that I split and generating, selling a few calves, generating a little income, I began to buy my own clothes. And I began to buy Levi's. And so I had a front row seat to the price of Levi's beginning to spike from, $6 or $7, $8 a pair to $18, $19, $20 a pair. But as I became a man, when Kelly and I were married and I was working, it didn't matter because I had to have Levi's because that is what a man wore when he worked, especially in construction. Now fast forward, I don't know when it was. Oh, I do know when it was. We moved to Wyoming in 1981, and we moved to Las Vegas in 1986. And Levi's were what I wore all the way through there. And I thought that I had begun to notice that they were getting a little lighter, the weight of the fabric. I don't know. They were Levi's. Who was I to question the quality of the iconic work pant, right? And when I got to Las Vegas and it was 115 or 112 or 108 or 120, and we were pouring concrete or welding tilt-up panels or framing walls or stacking roofs, those Levi pants were a little tough in the desert heat. And they began to be restrictive. And I didn't actually consider an alternative pant. But when I moved to Oregon and began to log again with my dad and realized that there were alternatives for pants, I was happy to step away from Levi's, then $40 a pair or whatever they were, and step into Carhartts, double front, logger, Dungarees, as a solution not only to working in the brush, logging, but working at pouring concrete and doing my additions and remodels in the little construction project that I spent my life doing. So here is one of the pairs of Carhartts. I probably bought this 6 or 7 years ago, just about the time that Carhartt changed. That Carhartt began to go the way of Levi's and think more about fashion and social acceptability and maybe social influence than simply producing good workwear for tough work environments. But until that happened, these were a great pant. The double front meant I had 2 pairs of pants. I could wear through the front, which was always where I wore through them when I was young and productive, and still have a layer of denim back there doing its job and protecting the front of my legs and resisting the ripping motion of blackberry vines when you're out, working in the woods and setting chokers and you need to just push through the brush and not worry about getting hurt. you know, by the sticks and the stones and the branches and the brambles. You had to have some protection on your legs, and these were it. And then one day, not too long after we started this channel, and I was wearing Carhartts and only Carhartts, and the suspenders and everything that went along with it, the store where I bought my pants was out. And I talked to them, and they said, yeah, we're having trouble getting those double front logger dungarees. In fact, we hear that maybe Carhartt's shutting that off. Well, first I was appalled, and then I got mad. So I waited around as I was wearing my way through the 5 or 6 pairs of pants that were always on my shelf, and the situation began to become dire. And then I heard that they had started. I think it was in a comment on the channel that they'd started making them again. But it wasn't true. They'd started making these, which look about the same, but are a different fabric. Carhartt decided to turn their double front logger dungarees into stretchy mom pants. And Carhartt, if you're listening, I want you to know that I, for one, resent it. So I bought a pair, and I put them on, and I thought, man, I'm glad I'm not logging anymore, because these things are not the same. Now, are they more comfortable? Maybe. Will they last as long? No. And will they do the same work? No again. So having made that rant, here's my last pair of good Carhartts, the ones that I know are going to stand it and are going to wear. And when I got these, Carhartt had neglected to put 2 bachelor buttons on there. Just a manufacturing error. So what? I don't hold that against you. I mean, those things happen, and I can put those bachelor buttons on myself. I'll do that after a while. And I'm kind of saving these because these were one fine pant. So here's what I had to do. I had to figure out, what am I going to wear? Because I have to keep working, and I have to have that style of pant to hold the tools and protect the legs and do the job that the pant as a tool has to do in the work that I do. So I started to look around, and the first thing I tried was Prison Blues. Now Kelly ordered these, and they're dirty. I pulled these out of the hamper, right? And these are a pretty good pant, and I don't know if they don't make a double front or if she just neglected to order the right thing. These are a single front, and so they're a lighter pant. And they're pretty good. The stitching's good, the rivets are good, but here's the problem for me with Prison Blues, and that is the hip pocket. When I get my wallet out, the hip pocket is just a little short. The top of the wallet is at the top of the pocket. Who wants that? And the side pockets are not the same. They're not as deep. And then here's the real deal breaker. There's no pockets on the left leg, and there's no hammer loop. So Prison Blues, maybe it's my bad, and I just didn't look far enough through your catalog, and you've actually got these. But if you didn't make the hip pocket deeper, I couldn't wear them anyway. So when I realized that Prison Blues wasn't going to do it for me, and that Carhartt had betrayed me, I went to a saw shop and looked down their stacks of logging clothes and pulled out a pair of key pants. I've known guys that wore key pants for a long time, and this is a pair of key pants that's, I don't know how old. I gotta say, they're a good pant. I don't think they're quite the pant that Carhartt used to make, simply because I don't think the dye holds up as long. They go gray a little faster. But the fabric seems to be the same weight. The stitching seems to be just as durable. The sizing is accurate. I'll tell you that I was able to switch from the same size in Carhartt to the same size in Key, and for me right now it's 33-32. Now I remember in Levi's, maybe I already mentioned this, wearing a 30-36 or a 32-36, so I'm shrinking, just like the rest of us, just like you guys are going to shrink, you young guys, when you get older. But the sizing on Key was consistent with Carhartt for what that's worth. Now here's a tip from my wife, and I'll call it a pro tip. There's nothing worse than getting a pair of pants that you like, that works, that fits, that you would like to have another pair just like it, and the tag is either gone or faded and you can't remember what size you ordered, and so you have to experiment again and maybe you miss the size. Take the size off the pant when you buy it and tape it to the inside of the cabinet that's right above your washing machine, so when it's time to order another pair of pants, you can just open it up and say, okay, 33-32, boom, and you'll have some confidence that when it shows up, it's going to work. So, just to wrap this up, pants are important. Work pants are way more important as a work pant than as a fashion statement. And if any of you pant manufacturers out there besides Levi's and Carhart are thinking of selling out to fashion, please don't. Thanks for watching Essential Craftsman, and keep up the good work.